Most people try to charm others through kindness or approval. They try to build confidence by repeating affirmations. They believe power is found in being liked. But Machiavelli knew better. He believed that seduction, confidence, and power were not gifts, but skills, and anyone could master them. This video will show you how. Seduction. The very word feels soft in the mouth. Whispered in secret, hidden behind perfume, behind smiles, behind handshakes. But for those who understand the true nature of power, seduction is not softness. It is not romance. It is not a warm emotion that swells from the heart. No, seduction is a strategy, and like all great strategies, it is cold. It is calculated. It is cruel when necessary. Because it is built not on what you feel, but on what they crave. Most people think seduction is something you're born with, that it's a gift of beauty, or charm, or charisma. They think it's about having a silver tongue, a perfect smile, or some magical ability to flirt and make people swoon. Machiavelli, ever the realist, would scoff at such illusions. He saw seduction for what it truly is, the art of mirroring desires, not expressing your own, not chasing what you want, but masking your hunger while feeding theirs. You must understand this. People are not seduced by you. They are seduced by the reflection of themselves in you. That is the key. To seduce someone, anyone, you must learn the shape of their soul. What do they long for? What do they fear? What keeps them awake at night? What would they kill for? What would they die for? Once you know this, you shape yourself into the answer. But you never declare yourself. You don't reveal your intentions. You don't say, "I like you," or "I want you," or "I admire you." No, you let them say it. You let them feel it. You plant the seed of desire in their mind, and you let it grow wild while you stand back, untouched, composed, silent. This is how you gain control, without appearing to reach for it. In Machiavelli's time, princes and diplomats seduced entire courts without touching a soul. They did it with carefully chosen silences, with half promises, with warm words that meant little, and a gaze that meant everything. You must learn the same. Speak less, smile just enough. Disappear, and make your absence louder than your presence. Let them wonder what you're thinking. Let them try to impress you. Let them work for your approval, even if they outrank you in status, beauty, or wealth. Because seduction, when done right, flips the balance of power. It turns the hunter into the hunted. It turns the one with desire into the one who begs. It makes people need you, without ever asking why. To do this, you must become emotionally disciplined. You cannot seduce from a place of need. You cannot seduce while trying to be liked. You must remain cold in the center, while warm on the surface. Like honey wrapped around a blade, you may laugh gently, nod softly, even touch a hand if it serves you, but only if it serves you. Seduction is not about sincerity. It is about illusion. It is the slow construction of a dream so vivid, so tailored to the target's inner longing, that they walk willingly into your hands. And yet, here is the paradox. The moment they think you want them too much, the spell is broken. That is the great mistake the common man makes. He gives too much, too fast. He pours his heart out. He reveals his plans. He lays down his emotions like coins on a table and says, "Here, look how honest I am. Look how much I want you." Foolish. Desire, once exposed, loses value. What people cannot have, they want. What is always available, they ignore. So if you wish to seduce, you must learn the art of absence. Be near, but never fully there. Give glimpses, not access. Respond slowly. Speak in riddles. Let them fill in the gaps with their imagination, because their imagination will always be more flattering than your reality. Make yourself a question, a puzzle, a gentle contradiction. Be the person who listens more than they speak, who notices what no one else does, who asks the right questions, but never answers the ones aimed at you. In silence, in mystery, in distance, you will become magnetic. They will lean closer to understand you. They will reveal themselves in the hope you'll do the same. They will chase what they cannot pin down. And when you finally give something, anything, a story, a compliment, a gesture, it will feel like gold. That is how seduction works. Not with effort, not with effortlessness, but with calculated restraint. Machiavelli knew the man who seduces is the one who appears unmoved, who remains steady in the storm of emotion, who, like a master chess player, makes only the moves that matter. Because every seductive act is not an act of affection. It is a maneuver in the game of influence. And those who play it well win everything. They told you confidence is something you're supposed to feel. They said you just need to love yourself. That if you repeat positive phrases in the mirror every morning, your inner power will awaken like some sleeping lion. But Machiavelli, he saw through this illusion. He understood something colder, something more precise. Confidence is not a mood. It is not a feeling. It is a structure, a fortress of the mind built from one material only: control. Control of your thoughts, control of your movements, control of your words, control of your silence. The world believes confidence comes from being admired, from applause, from external validation. But the one who needs admiration is already weak, already cracked, already dependent on the eyes and approval of others. Machiavelli would say, the truly confident man is the one who could vanish and still be sure of who he is. You see, most people are loud because they are unsure. They talk to prove they matter. They laugh to cover the silence of their self-doubt. They interrupt. They explain. They overshare. They drown in their own words, hoping to convince others and themselves that they are enough. But the one who speaks less, the one who waits before responding, the one who doesn't react, but chooses when to act, that is the one people look to when the room begins to shift. Because power, like gravity, is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. It is simply felt. Confidence begins not in your chest or your smile, but in your ability to not be shaken. Machiavelli observed this in the courts of princes and the streets of Florence. The powerful man was never the one yelling in anger. It was the one sitting still, watching, saying nothing, yet radiating something impossible to define. That something was control. Control over his body. No fidgeting. No nervous gestures. No darting eyes. Stillness, poise, presence. Control over his voice-measured tone. No rushing. No filler words. Each sentence carrying weight because it was chosen. Control over his time, never in a hurry. Never too available. Never jumping at the first invitation. He understood that attention must be earned, not thrown around. That energy is currency. That mystery is magnetic. Most people hand out their time, their presence, their emotional energy like pamphlets in a busy street. They want to be noticed. They want to be liked. They want to be invited in, but confidence does not beg to be included. Confidence chooses when to engage and when to walk away. This is where true power hides, not in volume, but in choice. To build confidence the Machiavellian way, you must stop chasing internal feelings and begin managing external reality. Instead of trying to feel brave, behave in ways that generate control. Discipline your habits, craft your image, guard your secrets. Because when you know something others don't, when you have trained yourself to act without flinching, when you can walk into a room and feel no need to prove anything, that is when people begin to believe in you, without even knowing why. The less you try to convince, the more they are convinced. Machiavelli believed that power is a performance, and confidence is the mask the wise wear not to deceive, but to dominate perception. Because in a world that rewards appearances over truth, it is not the honest man who wins, it is the composed one. He knew that if you can control your expressions, if you can remain unmoved when insulted, if you can laugh softly when provoked, you become untouchable. The angry man is a puppet. his strings pulled by anyone who knows where his buttons are. But the man who does not flinch, the man who waits, who breathes, who calculates before he acts, he terrifies the room. Not because he is cruel, but because he is unreadable, and what cannot be read cannot be predicted. What cannot be predicted cannot be manipulated. Confidence, then, is not found in screaming affirmations into a mirror. It is found in choosing silence when others panic, in holding your posture when others shrink, in smiling when others doubt you, because you know something they don't. And what you know is this: they are all acting for approval. They are performing for attention. But you are performing for no one, not even for yourself. Because confidence, true confidence, is not about being right. It's about being unshaken when others question you. It's not about knowing everything. It's about being calm when you know very little and still moving forward. Confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't explain. It doesn't defend. It simply exists, and when it does, others follow. Not because they are told to, but because something in them, primal, ancient, responds to the one who holds their center when the world begins to spin. Power does not belong to the loudest voice in the room. It does not belong to the kindest, or the smartest, or the most talented. Power belongs, always, to the one who cannot be removed, to the one who makes himself indispensable. Machiavelli understood this long before modern minds turned power into fantasy. He watched men rise not because they were brilliant, but because they were necessary. And he watched those same men fall the moment they were no longer needed. If you wish to become truly powerful, you must reject the idea that you are loved for who you are, that your charm or your sincerity is enough, that people are loyal because of affection. No. Loyalty is an illusion created by dependency. People stay close to those they cannot do without. They obey not because they admire, but because they fear the cost of losing you. Your goal, then, is to create that cost. You must become a lever in their machinery, a key to their kingdom, a piece of the structure that, if removed, causes it all to tremble. It begins with competence. You must be excellent at something they need. Not what you enjoy, not what they praise, but what they cannot easily replace. Learn skills that are scarce. Solve problems others avoid. Step into the gaps where most are afraid to stand. And then, once you've made yourself useful, withdraw slightly. Do not be too available. Do not hand over your value freely. Let them taste what life is like when you are not present, and then return, calm and composed, as though nothing ever happened. This is how you teach the lesson. Not with words, not with threats, but with absence. People do not respect what is always present. They do not notice what never disappears. But the moment you step back, the moment they face the void of your absence, only then do they feel your worth. This is how the indispensable man is built. He is never the one clinging. He is the one they cling to. You will know you've reached this place when your silence is louder than another man's speech, when your delay causes panic, when your approval becomes a kind of currency others trade in whispers. Machiavelli observed that princes who could not be replaced by ministers remained secure, even when hated, because no one wants to break the tool they rely on, even when they resent it, even when they envy it. And that is where your power will begin to form. But be warned, usefulness alone is not enough. If you are merely a servant of needs, they will drain you and discard you. You must also build mystery around your usefulness. Do not reveal everything you know. Never teach them the full formula. Leave a piece of the process hidden, something only you can do, only you can access, only you can deliver. Guard it like a secret passage. In the game of power, information is not shared, it is traded. Keep your knowledge close. Disclose only what strengthens your position. Never be transparent in a world that rewards opacity. Because the moment they no longer need you, the moment your knowledge becomes common, You are vulnerable. A powerful man is never fully understood. He is never easily replaced. And above all, he is never too easy to reach. Even those you work with closely, even those who trust you deeply, should never feel they've seen every side of you. They should feel there's something more, something they don't fully grasp, something that makes them hesitant to challenge you because they fear they might be missing a crucial piece. This is how power hides in shadow. The indispensable man is not loud. He does not boast. He does not explain how needed he is. He lets others discover it quietly, painfully. With every moment he is gone. Machiavelli understood that the illusion of strength is often more powerful than strength itself. So create the illusion that without you, systems crumble, that your departure would leave a hole too wide to fill. And once that belief takes hold in their minds, once they begin to imagine life without you and find it risky, you no longer need to ask for power. It will be offered, often reluctantly, but without alternative. Because when people are faced with two options, challenge you or keep you, they will choose to keep you if it costs them less. Make that cost high, not by threat, but by slow, consistent proof that you are the only one who can hold things together, and never, ever allow yourself to be easily copied. The moment you are imitated, you must evolve. The moment your methods are exposed, you must adapt. Because your survival depends not just on being useful, but on being unique, on being the only one who can do what you do, in the way you do it, at the time it is needed most. There is a reason the lion is feared before it ever roars. A reason the king's presence alone silences the court. A reason some men enter a room and own it, without uttering a word. It is not because they are stronger, or better, or smarter. It is because they understand one eternal truth in this world: people do not respond to reality. They respond to appearances. Machiavelli saw it clearly, and he did not flinch from it. He knew that men judge not by the truth of your character, but by the illusion you present. And so, he advised the wise, do not waste time trying to be something. Focus instead on appearing to be exactly what others need you to be. Because the world is not run by truth, it is run by perception. And he who controls perception, controls power. This is the final art, the sharpest blade, the quietest weapon. It is the power to wear masks, not one, but many. To shift them as the situation demands, while always hiding your true face. To master appearances, you must first understand this. No one is looking at you. Not really. They are looking at the version of you that lives inside their own imagination, and you must shape that version like a sculptor, with precision, with patience, with ruthless intent. The way you walk, the way you pause, the way your eyes move before you speak. All of it creates meaning, and it is the meaning they follow. Not your intentions, not your honesty. They follow what they think you are, so control what they think. If you wish to be seen as powerful, never explain. The moment you explain, you lower yourself. The moment you justify, you confess weakness. Silence, on the other hand, provokes wonder. They cannot attack what they cannot define. They cannot outmaneuver what they cannot predict. And so you move through the world not as an open book, but as a sealed letter, marked with a symbol they cannot read. Let them guess. Let them doubt. Let them imagine. Even your flaws must be painted in strategic light. If you are cold, you are focused. If you are distant, you are disciplined. If you are mysterious, you are dangerous. Let them fill in the blanks in ways that serve you. Machiavelli knew the people will forgive cruelty if it is packaged with strength. They will excuse arrogance if it wears the robes of confidence. They will follow darkness if it walks like destiny. The secret is not in being perfect. It is in appearing composed. Do not smile too quickly. Do not laugh too freely. Let every reaction seem chosen, never automatic. Your emotions must appear under your command, never loose, never wild. A man who cannot control his face cannot control his fate. The ones who radiate power often say very little. They let their silence breed tension. They let others unravel in the awkwardness. And in that silence, the illusion begins to grow. Others start to believe that you must know something they don't. That your calm means certainty. That your quiet is not emptiness, but strategy. Let them believe it. Because once they do, they will treat you differently. They will hesitate before speaking to you. They will seek your approval without asking why. They will lower their voice in your presence and measure their words more carefully. And when they do, when they shift around you as if walking in a sacred space, you will know you've mastered the art of appearance. This power is more than clothing or posture. It is more than voice tone or calculated silence. It is the entire architecture of how you present yourself in every moment. You do not need to raise your voice to dominate a room. You need only to make them believe that your opinion will define the direction of the conversation. You do not need to tell them you're important. You must act as though you've never had to prove it. Confidence, intelligence, capability. None of it matters until it looks like you have it. And once it looks like you have it, they will follow you before you even deliver it. You must become a myth dressed in human skin, a story they tell others, a rumor that becomes reality because enough people believe it, and belief is everything. You can break a man with a sword, but with appearance you can break a nation, without ever lifting your hand. Appearances are not decoration. They are manipulation. They are control. They are the spell that keeps others bound to your image while you move freely in the dark. This is what Machiavelli understood better than the dreamers, better than the idealists. That truth does not lead. It follows, and it is dragged behind perception like a prisoner in chains. So never show them all of you. Let them see just enough to believe they understand you. Then shift. Let them chase shadows while you build your throne in silence. Now you understand. Seduction is not about desire. It is about strategy. It is the art of reflecting someone's deepest craving while never exposing your own. When done with precision, they will chase you, not knowing why. Confidence is not an emotion. It is control. Not over the world, but over yourself. It is found in the man who does not flinch, who does not rush, who does not seek permission to exist. He moves in silence, and in that silence, he becomes unshakable. Power belongs not to the loud, nor the loved, but to the one who makes himself indispensable. The one who becomes a pillar others lean on, even as they resent him. You do not need to be admired. You only need to be necessary. And above all, appearances rule this world. Not truth, not merit, not goodness, but the illusion of those things, crafted carefully, worn convincingly, guarded ruthlessly. Because people do not follow reality. They follow what looks like reality. So, seduce with mystery, command with stillness, build value quietly. And wear your mask so well, they forget you ever had a face beneath it. You will not need to demand power. You will become it.